why did you decide to be here today and come and share your story?
So I've gotten to know you, and you're wonderful. And I just think it needs to be out there. Mental health, well-rounded, all over.
Okay.
We need to talk about it.
So there's a lot of information in the media.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be social media, movies, music, about body positivity.
Yeah.
How would you define body positivity, being a professional and an expert that's worked in the beauty industry for 15 years?
Body positivity, it could mean so much. But for me personally, I help people pick something that they like about themselves and enhance that.
Oh, wow.
My hair is my best trait. My lips are my best trait. My eyebrows are my best trait. I think it's great when somebody finds something about themselves and they can talk about it and they can enhance it and make it better. You've got to find something you like about yourself.
There's a lot of information about unattainable beauty standards. What are your thoughts coming from the beauty industry with this idea of unattainable beauty standards? Do you agree with that? Do you not agree with it?
Yeah, it's very unattainable. Filters are insane. Filters for skincare, for hair color, for body type. They're very unattainable. And it's just getting worse. More filters, more editing, more everything that's just not realistic.
How do you feel like that impacts the industry that you're working in?
Yeah, I think it's hard, but that's where us as stylists have to come tell the truth. This color is not realistic. This shape is not realistic. You can see where even you take an after picture, say we do their hair, they show a picture, it's filtered. We explain to them, this is filtered. This is not a realistic, doable option. So we do our best, get as close as we can, and then I'll show them. We'll take pictures and I'll put filters on. And we usually can match the color that they show with the filter on their own hair.
Is that right?
And then they see, okay, that is filtered. That's not realistic. But I think honesty is all that we have to do, is just say, hey, this isn't quite what we can get, but we can work towards something similar. They're also a different person. We have a different starting point than somebody else that they've brought a picture in for. But something I have learned is do not promise what you don't know you can promise. We can work as hard. Let's see what we can get. And we can get as close as we can.
Do you feel that people, your clients, are accepting when you point out, look, this was a aesthetic that was achieved through a filter. It's not real. How do your clients respond to that?
Most of them well. If you're upfront and honest in the beginning, that's going to open up trust. And they'll listen to you. And they'll be more adaptive and acceptive of that.
Yeah. So over 15 years, and this channel is about mental health and addiction medicine. How many clients would you say come into your chair, percentage-wise, and are sharing with you that they are struggling with mental health symptoms?
Probably about 50%. Some of them don't even know that they're struggling. They're just talking. They just talk. But from my experience, my personal experience, time behind the chair, you learn to understand what they're trying to say, whether they're meaning to tell you or not. But it's big. It's a big percentage of people who are struggling. And I feel like over time, as mental health gets more comfortable to talk about, more people are opening up. Whether that be just more history, more time together, they get more comfortable. It's quite a big percentage of people that express problems with mental health.
So how do you deal with people sharing with you some of the heaviness and that sacred part of their life that could be really challenging for them. I don't think until you and I sat down and spoke that I realized that beauty professionals probably hear a lot of the troubles of their clients on a day-to-day basis. So how do you deal with that as a beauty professional?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Some days at the end of the day, you just drive home in silence, processing everything that you've heard. Some days it's heavier. Some things are heavier. But sometimes it helps me. It helps me knowing that what I'm going through, somebody else is going through. Sometimes it's really hard because you want to help these people. Ideally, your clients become your friends, right? You really get to know somebody. You're giving me permission to get in your space, physically, mentally, emotionally. And as much as I love having that safe place, it can be a lot. But I have learned to take what they give and I kind of try to flip it around to help myself as well. And I don't give professional advice, but you just talk. You just have a conversation and we can help each other. You know, them opening up. It's a very fine line, you opening up to me versus me opening up to you. You know,
is that?
Somebody comes, sits down in my chair. That's part of the service, right? We always joke in the industry, like, we're just therapists that make you look great. You know, you leave mentally happy, physically happy, you look good inside, you look good outside. It's a win-win. But and I'm happy that people get so comfortable and they can open those gates, let down those walls. But it is heavy sometimes. It's really heavy. And sometimes I can't let those feelings go. You know, there's a particular situation or person that you keep thinking about and you want to help them. But it is a very fine line professionally and personally that you can and cannot cross.
I think it would be hard to know what the boundaries are in that relationship. What would you tell other viewers that are beauty industry professionals about how to handle that side of your career?
Yeah, it's hard because we're taught in school. We don't talk about sex, politics, religion, and they put that into your brain. All of that, which I think is a very well standard professional boundary system, but everybody's different. And I think you just have to gauge, and it's just time. I mean, I've been behind the chair 15 years. It's something that I've learned and you practice and you get to know everybody has different personality types and you learn to decipher those. What can we talk about? What can we not talk about? I generally let my clients lead the conversation, and if they give a little, maybe I'll give a little of my personal understandings, my experiences, my dealings. Really just naturally, we just know people. So really just use your gut, get to know that person. What you might tell me and what I can give back is different than somebody else. Just trust your gut. Engage the person, get to know them, and you'll know what you can give and take.
So what advice would you give people who are seeking to find balance between taking care of yourself, self-care, and staying away from obsessive thoughts about beauty and body body image, their beauty standards, kind of the negativity that they might be seeing and hearing in the environment?
So of course this is my business, self-care, body image, right? I am all for treating yourself. Doing little things or big things that make you feel good about yourself. What did we say before? Self-care versus taking care of yourself are two different things. Self-care could be, I'm going to go get my nails done. And that could lead into taking care of yourself. Something that feels good right then could move over into taking care of yourself, or it could go too far. Self-care, starting in the beginning, oh, I'm just going to put some nails on, put a little bleach in my hair, put some lashes on, could then morph into too much, which could be detrimental to actually taking care of yourself. It could start when, even if somebody doesn't have any obsessive body dysmorphia, it could morph into that over time. And versus what people would say, what people wouldn't say, lack of compliments, let's do more, let's change more, which then is denting into your taking care of yourself. I, growing up, had a really hard time with caring about what people thought about me, my body, my personality, how I walked, how I acted. And just as my years have passed, I've had a lot of personal help of finding that it doesn't matter how other people perceive you, what other people think about you, what you're doing, how you're talking, how you're acting. I just suggest dig deep down, find who you are, find who you're comfortable being, and embrace it. And naturally, you'll be just a happier person. You'll feel better, you'll feel more comfortable. Life will get a lot easier if you just don't focus on what other people think about you.
It's really hard to do.
It's really hard to do.
Especially with the way social media is right now.
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell your younger self about what beauty really is? Because you've been in this industry a long time. You've helped other people with their beauty journey, becoming their best selves.
Yes.
But what would you tell your younger self about what beauty really is and what it really means to you?
It is not just physical. It's internal and external. You know, when you feel good about yourself inside, that's going to show on the outside. And vice versa, right? You get your hair done, you feel good about yourself, but not leading it to be detrimental against being well internally. You know, it's just a fine line. But I would love to go back to my young self and just say, let it go. Who cares what somebody says? Who cares if you see a picture and you don't love how you look? But I mean, where social media is taking us as a society, like, I do worry. I worry about my daughter. I worry about the expectations and the standards of the filtering and the editing and the cropping, all of that. It's just, it's creating unrealistic expectations for yourself. And we just have to remember, don't let that go too far. Focus on who you are and just be who you want to be.
What advice would you give up and coming beauty professionals about how to help their clients really achieve that overall beauty that you're talking about?
Honesty. Like I said earlier, be honest. This is an unrealistic expectation. What do you like about this look? What do you not like about this look? Really just get to know your client. Get to know them. Be honest. Stick to your guns. You are a professional. You know what you can and what you can't do. And don't promise unrealistic expectations. And if you're upfront and honest, that relationship is going to open up, trust is going to open up, and you're going to be able to guide your client in the right direction, and it's just going to be an easier process. Now, not everybody is easy to work with like that, but for the most part, trust your professional gut, be true to yourself, know your worth, and believe in yourself.
How do you handle difficult clients And what would you tell other beauty professionals and experts that are up and coming in terms of advice on how to handle the difficult client? And maybe this is a client that's obsessing about the way that they look, and you see that this might be at an unhealthy level. What would you tell them to do?
Yeah, so there's many types of different, you know, there's just the insatiable people. There's people that are never going to be happy, whether they're good with themselves or not. You'll be able to tell a difference over time. You'll be able to see there are just some people that are just very particular, and you just might not be the right person for them. But again, getting to know people, seeing if they're unhappy with themselves and how they treat you and how they react to the service you've given them, it's different with each person. And again, open honesty is key, but then we go back to that professional, personal fine line to cross. If you feel like you can't help this person, just let them go. That's the biggest. Just let them go.
In conclusion, what are the things that you do to maintain your beauty and your self-care with yourself?
That is the good question. My self-care is not physical. Mine is having time to myself. I love to clean my house. Thinking about what we're going to do as a family. How we can go spend time together. Mine is not physical. Mine is more mental. Just spending time doing what makes me happy. It could be different each day. I'm going to go get a coffee on Monday. Tuesday, it could be I'm going to scrub the toilets. You know, you just got to find, and it can be hard. And it took me a good 30 years to find what really makes me happy. And I'm in the industry. I can do it all. You know, I've done all the nails. I've done all the lashes. I've done all the tattooing. I've done all the hair coloring. And it is nice. It's a little high when you get your hair done. You feel good about yourself in the minute. But that's not my true self-care. You just have to find your own.